Well, thanks for everybody joining. Giving we have a little, quick delayed start here. I'm just gonna get right into today's session, right? So appreciate you have the time to spending this hour with us here. And my name is Lucy. I'm the worldwide specialist for Cloud Ops, and I have two amazing co-hosts here, Anya and Corinne. Did you guys get a chance to introduce yourself? If so, we can just kind of skip right into the agenda here.
We didn't, but we're good.
Oh, okay. All right. How about Anya? I'll let you quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, my name is Anya de Velta. I'm based in Newcastle in the UK, so it's the afternoon for me, and I'm a specialist solutions architect, and I work on the cloud operations team. Over to Kareem.
I'm Kareem. I'm a technical account manager within the financial services industry, and I'm based out of Tampa.
Yeah, thanks. So we're all very excited for you to be here, and then, thank you for your time to decide to spend the next hour with us. So let's take a look at what we're going to cover in this session. First, we're going to take a look at what type of customer challenge problems we have in terms of, when you come to manage your database and how to absorb and monitor these databases, right? We always like to work backwards with our customer problems and challenges. Then we're going to help introducing Amazon CloudWatch Database Insight. How is this capability is going to help you troubleshooting database performance issue quicker, get to finding to the root cause, and really help you improve your database operations. We're going to spend majority of the session time to actually demo, to show you how these capabilities in action, right? How you can use these different feature sets to help troubleshooting your database issues. We're going to brief talk about some of the credit programs, POC programs we currently offer, so can help you offset some of the costs if you want to try out this capability. We're going to provide you some resources and help you get started, right? After the session, where can you go look for more information and get started with database observability? Then we're going to leave some time for Q&A. So with that being said, let's take a look. What are the most common customer problems or challenges when it comes to monitoring the databases, right? And these are the challenges that most of you have expressed to us over the years. So first foremost, there's tons of different database types, database instances. There's MySQL, Postgres, there's Aurora on MySQL, there's MySQL on RDS, right? So all various different types. And that becomes a hard challenge to monitoring, absorbing them as a whole, right? You might be able to absorb one instance, but some different ways absorbing a different type of instance. So just kind of a single pane of glass overview, it's become difficult. The second is kind of classic one. When we're talking about troubleshooting any issues, right? I mean, if this is a database issue, sometimes it could be related to application. So classic one is, hey, is this my database problem or is this my application problem? Lacking of that context or correlations from the application layer also preventing a challenge for many of our customers. Then it comes to toolings. Different groups like using different type of tools. So instead of you might have a tool set for monitoring infrastructure, you might have a tool set for monitoring databases, right? So when things coming up, then you're spending a lot of time navigating these tools, try to kind of stitch all the different datas together instead of troubleshooting. Then last but not least, people have expressed that, hey, if I'm not coming from a database background, let's say I'm a SRE, not a DBA, right? I might don't have the in-depth knowledge around databases. That also preventing me troubleshooting database issue so quicker. So we also find it does require a steep learning curve, or you have to have the database expertise or knowledge to troubleshoot around database performance issues. So this is the reason why we announced Amazon CloudWatch Database Insight. This is one of the key features in Amazon CloudWatch, which is our native observability tool on AWS. This capability, this feature announced probably about 2 years ago. We're really looking to address some of the problems and challenges customer has been expressing to us. So first foremost, we provide with Amazon Database Insight, we provide you that curated insight view for different personas, right? Whether you're DevOps engineers or application developers, DBAs or SREs, we're able to help you, give you that insight that makes sense for you to troubleshoot the database issue. Second is to give you that single pane of view across the fleet of databases. You obviously can dive into different instances to understand more, which we're going to show you in the demo, but just out of the box, right? You get that fleet of monitoring view for all your database incidents, so you can quickly pinpoint what problem, which database instance I need to dive deep, where is the problem relies. Then last but not least is that correlation between different layers. So it's no longer, hey, the application team think this is a database issue, then the database team think this is an application issue. We provide you that correlation between databases and application to really help you drill down to the root cause and resolve issue quicker. So now I'm going to just kind of touch base really quick because some of the audience, some of the customers you join here today, you might not be very familiar with our native data observability tool, right? So this is Database Insights, part of the key features in Amazon CloudWatch, which is our native observability tools. So more a quick level set for some of you new to Amazon CloudWatch. These are very rich set of features that within our native observability toolings we have. For our session, we're going to dive deep down into the database insight. But as you can see from the telemetry collection, instrumentations, all the way to APN, we cover various different advanced features. And where you register for our session today, this is where the single enablement spot that we're hosting various different observability sessions. So you can find Gen AI topics, you can find database topics, you can find logs, metrics, and these various different topics. So just want to making sure, for somebody who joined our session today, maybe not too familiar with CloudWatch, gave everybody a quick overview here. So before we dive into the demo here, I like to engage with audience quickly here, just to get a sense of how many of our customers are how are you managing your database today, right? So I'm going to fire up a quick poll question here, and I'm just going to stop sharing this for a second. And we're going to take a quick 30 seconds to answer this question so we understand where our audience sits, right? Essentially, we're curious to understand, are you self-manage these database today? You're fully manage the database today. Yeah, we're just going to take a quick 30 second before we close out the poll here. And then let me start sharing my screen again. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I see quite a few are fully managed. Also, quite a few are all self-managed. That's very interesting. Let me try to see where I can share my screen again. Okay, so let me end the poll here, And I will start sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the real action here, right? So Anya and I are going to go over a very interactive, a kind of conversation demo. So we're going to take look at a real customer scenario and then demonstrate how Database Insight is going to help this customer. So Anya, I have had a customer conversation last week. They're a global company and across North America and Europe, and their workload is very distributed. They have multiple databases and across multiple AWS accounts in 3 different regions, right? So they come to us because they had a problem. They talked to me and said they had a database issue, and then it cost them tons of money because they missed their SLAs. And it took them about 45 minutes to actually troubleshooting this database issue. Can you help me understand what we can do to help this customer with DBI?
Cool. Yes, I will do. But just to kind of frame the problem. So basically what happened, they had a database issue somewhere in their fleet, somewhere across multiple accounts, multiple regions, and they just basically struggled to identify which database and the root cause, and they had a big delay in resolving the problem.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So yes, there is definitely something that we can help. Let me share my screen. So please let me know that you can see my AWS console and not the session. Uh,
Yeah, I can
somebody,
see it.
yep, oh, good.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
lovely. Okay, so this is Database Insights. So I am in the CloudWatch console. And by the way, if you need me to zoom in, if it's too slow, just please let me know. But I'm in the CloudWatch console under infrastructure monitoring, under Database Insights. So I enabled Database Insights on my Aurora clusters, and this is the view that I land in, which is the fleet view that I end up in. So this is my I can see my database clusters and instances from multiple regions and for up to three regions at any time and from multiple accounts. So I'm in this cross region mode. And as soon as I kind of land in this fleet mode, you can see that I can see this honeycomb here. And this one's based on alarms. And of course, it's kind of like traffic light. If it's red, something's not quite right. If it's green, it's okay. If it's blue, it's probably not utilized. So if I switch from the alarm view to the DB load view here, so I can look at average DB load and max DB load. And just to kind of explain what DB load is basically it's the number of active sessions. It's relative to the vCPU count. So if your database load exceeds your vCPU count, that's when sessions end up waiting for the CPU, and that's when you have contention. So it's really important to kind of quickly spot that there is a problem. And as you can see, I've got actually four instances here that are not doing too good. But again, it's very, very easy for me to spot that there is a problem and where it is. And then on the right-hand side here, I've got top 10 database resources by utilization. So as you can see here, I can immediately see a spike. My retail instance database wasn't doing too well. And also actually these two are kind of under heavy load as well. So, so I can see that there's three kind of instances here that are not doing too good. So I need to have a look what's happening. And we'll dive deeper into that shortly. But if I kind of just continue down the page, I can see top queries that are actually adding to my database load. And again, this is all my fleet view, so I can see this for multiple multiple databases. Now, what I have here, and this view changes slightly when you're in the cross-account, cross-region mode, and when you're in a kind of single region mode, you just get a few more kind of hyperlinks over to the other kind of resources when you're in the kind of single instance mode. But this is really cool, I think. So back when I was in SRE, when I looked after databases and applications, I never knew which applications were calling the database. And because I've got integration with application signals, which is the application performance monitoring from CloudWatch, I can actually see which services are calling my databases and which dependencies. And I'll show you more of this shortly. But what else I can see immediately is I can see those golden signals as well from application signals. So I can see that one of the application that's calling my databases has a high fault rate. So again, I can see this straight away, and this is really, really handy. And I'll show you kind of deeper information on this as well in a minute. What else I can see? I can see all these kind of metrics that I can change for the databases, like CPU utilization, read latency, etc. And I can pick these based on what I need to see. And further down here, I can see all of my kind of database resources that I'm viewing. Again, you can see that which region they're coming from, etc. And in kind of metrics. So I think, Lucy, in terms of what your customer experience, I think this is definitely something that they would have been able to spot that there's a problem with a specific database pretty quickly if they were viewing this in this cross account and cross region mode. Do you think that would have been kind of much easier for them?
Yeah, I mean, totally. Thanks for showing up this. I wish you would be on that call with me last week with the customer. Another thing they brought up on our conversation is obviously cost is on every customer's mind, right? Specifically for them, they're very cost sensitive. So they also express they're currently using a third party too for some of the database observability features, but it costs them a lot of money. They want to understand because of their multi-region, multi-account setup, is there additional cost to that? Like, what's the pricing for this for cross-account, cross-region?
Okay, so let me cover the pricing. So in terms of cross-account and cross-region, so the concept of cross-account, cross-region observability in CloudWatch, you set up a centralized monitoring account, and then you are federating into your source accounts to view that data when you're doing this with Database Insights. So because you're federating, there's no data duplication. So unlike the third-party vendors where you might have to duplicate and aggregate that data, with this cross-account and cross-region visibility, there's no additional costs for that. Because it's a read-only access, there's like no copying, no duplication, so no extra charge for the cross-account, cross-region. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's great. I
Brilliant.
mean, that's great news for the customers. Yeah.
Brilliant. But then to just explain, just to briefly touch on database insights pricing, there are two tiers. There's a standard tier and an advanced tier. And we can provide you with links to kind of the more pricing information as well. But basically, the standard tier is with no additional charge, with 7-day retention, and it gives you some of the kind of features. But the advanced tier, which is a lot of the stuff that I'll be showing you today, is and that's the advanced tier is priced differently for RDS or Aurora or for serverless via provision. So obviously, there's different pricing per what you're using, but just approximately kind of ballpark is $9.30 per vCPU per month for your provision instances. So $9.30 per vCPU per month. But just remember that if you've got a reader and a writer, then obviously that's times two as well. I
Wow,
hope that
that's
makes
very
sense.
affordable. Yeah, $9. I don't think I can even make two Starbucks coffee with $9 today, today's price. So, definitely very affordable. I just want to confirm, the cross region and cross account is free, because that's important for this customer who's cross region, cross account.
Yeah, there's no additional charge because you're federating. So
Got it.
you're not
Okay.
copying data.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So I see, you demonstrate the whole kind of a fleet overview of these databases and pinpoint these red boxes. Red means no go, and we need to figure out why it's red. But I also try to, there's one thing that they also express that, how can you understand, between databases and applications as well? How can I get a visibility? Because I see you did mention a little bit earlier, say, hey, these are kind of connected applications. How does that work?
So yeah, so Database Insights is integrated with CloudWatch application signals. So this is
Hmm.
why I can see this data on here. So just let me kind of just quickly go over. So what does APM do? So basically, when you use APM or application performance monitoring, you're monitoring from the application layer, kind of down. So you're kind of looking at what the customer is experiencing, really, as opposed to traditional infrastructure monitoring, like is the CPU hot? So APM focuses on things like requests, latency, faults, dependencies, those golden or red metrics that you've heard about. With APM, you will know our retail service is having failures and latency, and not just our CPU is 100% or this query is taking ages. So let me show you basically how this works. So just to let you know, application signals uses open telemetry and it auto instruments your applications and it discovers services and dependencies in your application. So if I actually click on this dependency here, I'm going to be shortcutted straight over to application signals. And basically, it's because that database was a dependency of this retail service. It's taking me straight into this page where I can see this being a dependency. And I can see the red metrics around this. I can see all the requests. I can see latency. I can see percentiles because it's important to roll out some outliers. I can see the faults and I can see all this information here. We already know that there's a bit of a problem on the database, but just to kind of take a step back and just show you further from the application performance monitoring side, this database is a dependency. It's auto-discovered. I know this. It pinpoints me to that. But if I just want to have a look at the kind of overview of what I can see for the entire retail service, this is the kind of overview overall as an application. I can see how many requests are coming in, how many faults are happening, if there's any kind of service level indicators that are unhealthy that I've defined. I've got this operational audit here that will highlight if there's a decline in availability, for example. And again, I've got those golden metrics for the whole service, the requests, the latency, the errors, the faults. So that's there for me out of the box as well when I'm using CloudWatch application signals. And again, that dependency on the database is discovered. So that forms a part of my application. So I can see that really quickly.
Yeah, that's really nice to see. I see these four golden signals: request, availability, latency, false and error. I mean, a lot of customers I spoke to, at least at that application layer, those are the golden signals they're looking for, right? And is the dashboard automatically built for the customers, or does customer need to go do additional setup to get that view?
No, so they don't have to build this dashboard. This is a curated dashboard, and the service operation dependencies. This is all curated. They enable application signals and send the telemetry in, and we curate these for the customers.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's super nice. So customers can just come here and then get out of box dashboard view for their application performance and surface all these four golden signals.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if they
awesome.
have,
Yeah,
if they're using, if they're using database insights and application signals, obviously they have these shortcuts as well. So they can go over to database insights or they can go to application signals from that kind of hyperlink as well.
got it. Okay. Is there a way a customer can actually see into tracing?
You broke up for me, Lucy. Could you just repeat that?
Oh, I said, is there a way a customer can see end-to-end trace information?
They can, yes. So I've just headed over to service operations here. So these are my services, and I can see that the kind of the statistics again. And the really cool thing is that they can actually see traces that are correlated to the metrics. So if I click on this kind of spike here, you can see there was a trace that was collected at the same time, and I can kind of jump around and have a look at all these traces that we're collecting during that time. If I had faults, which I don't today, it seems to be working, which is great. But if I had faults, obviously I would have faulty traces in there as well. But I'm just going to open one of those traces just to show you what this looks like. So yeah, so again, straight from the metric, I can see the correlated trace. Oh, actually, this one did have a fault. So this is straight away, I can see my trace map. I can see all the spans that make up the trace, which is the steps that the request goes through. And I can also see at the bottom here any correlated logs as well, which is really handy to have this all in one place. And as you can see, there's an exception. So I'm just going to click view and there is a query read timeout actually that's there and a problem kind of in that Lambda function on line 15. So I can actually really quickly pinpoint issues this way if I'm looking from the kind of the application signals standpoint. But this is how it works. I can correlate those metrics to the traces. So it's really easy for me to actually find the related data rather than having to look in lots of different places.
Nice. Yeah, I see you show you can actually get to exact line of code causing that problem. I can definitely see that's going to help this customer I spoke to last week to troubleshoot their issues. I know you kind of go over around more kind of overview on the database problems and correlation with applications. Is there any level of detail we can get on the SQL statement and query analysis? Because that's one of the areas, one of the questions the customer brought up as well. Like how detailed can we see in a SQL statement and query analysis? For
Yeah.
example, like show a slow query. How can they do that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just going to head back over to Database Insights and just let's have a look at maybe the retail prod instance here. And I've also got the reporting instance open because we knew there was a problem. But this is kind of the more specific view for that instance. And you can see that actually this is in an alarm. So I have an indicator there that something's not quite right. But if I just take a look kind of from the top, again, I can now I can see top SQL first of all. So I can see kind of what SQL queries are running, if they're using any plans, what the SQL text is that it's running, etc. But I can also slice and dice this data in different ways. So I can slice it by things like weight. So that's what my queries are waiting on. For example, so this is mainly the client write and CPU. But I can, if I had blocking SQL, I don't think no blocking SQL, but I could slice this by blocking SQL, for example. Actually, I have that on another database. I'll just quickly show you on that one. Uh, Right, so if I sliced by blocking SQL here, hopefully, yeah, it'll show me which is the blocking SQL, which is again really, really useful. And I can see this by kind of different things like session type, plant performance, and I can zoom in on this data as well and only see kind of relevant bits. But I did already mention before that the reporting database had a spike, so there's log analysis that I can see here, for example. So I can see exactly what sessions were blocked and have like deeper analysis of what was happening there. I can see again top SQL, top weights, top users, etc. in here. What else I can see, which is really handy, is you asked about slow queries. So I can take a look at what slow query patterns are taking place, or I can actually look at the actual slow queries as well that are running and have some kind of statistics on them as well. So that's really handy if I want to examine kind of what's happening as well. Okay, I'm just trying to let me switch back to this other database just because I've got some more information there. In terms of kind of seeing the SQL, seeing what slow queries there are, logs, etc., you can have access to this information in so many different ways. You can zoom in, you can scope it to something very specific. So you get a lot of information in one place. Now
Yeah,
the database, yep, yes, sorry, Lucy.
go ahead. Go. I saw you mentioned about logs. I have a question, but I'll pause, let you finish.
No problem. So yeah, in database telemetry here, you already saw me go to slow queries to have a look at the slow queries, but I also have this other kind of statistics and metrics to what's happening on my database. But yeah, I do have the logs as well in one place. It's kind of this single pane of glass. I don't have to go anywhere else in the console. I can see the logs here as well. And again, this will display based on the kind of the range that I've selected at the top. And I can filter these logs. For example, I don't know, maybe there'll be errors. If I was looking for errors, I could filter these logs and only have a look at entries with errors. So that's designed for me to stay in this console and just to have a look at the logs. However, if I did want to then break out into pure CloudWatch logs and maybe live tail the logs as they're coming in. So that's like the equivalent of tail minus F on a Linux server. I could select live tail there. That would break me out into the CloudWatch console and would allow me to tail those logs as well. So I do still have those shortcuts, but I can overall stay in the console and have a look at kind of what's happening in the logs at the same time as seeing all this other telemetry, which is really handy.
Yeah, totally. You already answered my next question. Because the customer I talked to, they also said like one of the challenges they have logs using a different tool, right? So they can't really kind of correlate it between the database side of the house with the logs. So this is super handy. Yeah, I think this will definitely help that customer troubleshoot the issues. So so far, I mean, I see you kind of go through the APN, go through the logs. How about the actual individual database instance, right? We see the fleet view. How is a view from a database instance, and how is everything else connected there if I want to drill down to one instance, for example?
Okay, so obviously, you've seen the fleet view, you've seen this kind of more specific database instance view in terms of the database observability. But if you, for example, wanted to see metrics for anything kind of very infrastructure side, you have this Explore Related button now, which will kind of show you any kind of connected metrics to this. So a database instance has a subnet group, it has a parameter group, and this one's using a KMS key. So now I'm looking at the kind of the CloudWatch metrics on the database, but I've got this automatic topology map as well. So if I wanted to go and kind of dive deeper into the telemetry on the KMS, I could select that, and that would show me the telemetry for the KMS key as well, which is again really handy to have it all in one place. So that's how you would see the kind of the infrastructure side of things of what this database is kind of connected to from the kind of AWS resources standpoint. Hope that answers the question. I just wanted to quickly show you a couple more things, if that's okay. I know the
Yeah,
customers didn't kind
absolutely.
of ask it, but yeah,
Yeah.
just one more thing that I kind of think it's really great as well is you've got this performance analysis reports that you can generate. So they're kind of more point in time snapshot of what was happening with your database. So that for example, post incident, that would be really handy. So you can create these and they will give you kind of that a snapshot of what was happening during that time and maybe give you some recommendations of kind of how to react. So that's one of the things that's I think is really useful. So maybe your customer could have, run that as well. And then just lastly, just going back, I know we covered APM a lot, but just going back, from this standpoint that I again have further down, again, more information on these services that are calling the database, the kind of the endpoints they're using, the operations they're using. So I have that in this view as well. So I can and see this from kind of multiple places. So it's really important that I can see how tightly coupled, well, not tightly coupled, but how easily I can see the connected telemetry between the application and the database, which often used to be a challenge. So it does help you pinpoint issues much quicker when you've got these golden metrics in that console. So I think that's kind of pretty much it. We could spend a whole hour kind of looking through all the different bits and pieces, but I think, just having access to the data that I've shown you, your customer would have probably been able to resolve problems much, much quicker, just by not having to look in a million places and having the right data at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely bring you to the next call. Demo all this. I wish you were on my last call here. But thanks for showing all the kind of the real in action, right? How customers like our audience today, you can drill down in these different areas and help you troubleshoot your database performance issue. So with that being said, we're going to conclude the demo. And I'm gonna share back my screen and pray my computer don't crash. And um, so I want to quickly jump into some of the benefits that our customers can take advantage today, right? So So with insight based on your database spend, and we will be able to provide you POC credit. However, you have to go contact your AWS account team to submit a request, but this program is widely available for all customers out there. So try to remove that kind of cost of concern if you just want to test out the capability and see if that meets your business needs. Another one is we are hosting another database observability topics next week. This is going to be from the angle of using DevOps agent. So this is a very exciting with a more Gen AI kind of twist. So it is focused on database observability, but from a different angle of how you're using DevOps agents. So if you're curious from that perspective, we're welcome you back for our next week's session on the database observability. And then we're going to share the resources. One QR code you can access to various different interactive demos, application signal demos, which Anya demoed around APN. We have one observability workshop, our operation shows, and then best practice guidance. And I am going to leave one additional one in the chat, which is our cloud Operation Enablement series page, which I mentioned at the beginning. This is where you register the event. So there's various different topics. For instance, the next week's database event, a database observability event, it's on there. And obviously, various different other cloud operation topics are there. So we'll welcome you to continue join various different sessions to learn how can help you how can these two sets help you in your day-to-day life, right? And with that being said, we're gonna turn into a Q&A now. We have a session survey. This is very important. If you do have to drop, making sure you do provide us feedbacks. Let us know how the QR code is here. And I'm gonna let me know if anybody want to unmute themselves asking questions, or if you want to ask questions in the chat, we're happy to address either way. So yeah. Is this recorded? Yes, the recording, we are recording the session. We will make the recording available as a follow-up to you guys, for sure. Yeah, and I just paste the survey, making sure very important for us. And any other questions in the chat we can address or haven't addressed, feel free. This is the time. We have several product team members here as well. So we help, happy to answer any questions that you may have. Do you have a link to how send a notification when find a database error or locking? Anya, do you know on CloudWatch if there is a way to maybe alert?
Bear with me. Maybe Kevin might be able to help me out here, but you can create alerts on metrics in CloudWatch. So as long as there is a metric for this, then we should be able to create an alert. So I'm just gonna take a look at what metrics I have.
That's exactly right. You can create CloudWatch alarms on all of the metrics and the logs that are available in Database Insights. And with alarms, you can perform any of the supported actions. So, for example, executing a Lambda or calling an SNS topic, which you can use to build custom notifications.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Okay, next question. What's the new Aurora Dynamo DQL?
Am I correct in assuming you're talking about distributed SQL? So in the first half of this year, we're planning on launching an extension to Database Insights to support Amazon Aurora DSQL, and that's AWS's serverless distributed SQL database. So you'll be able to use Database Insights to monitor DSQL and be able to monitor that across your mixed fleets of RDS and Aurora.
Yeah, thanks. Another question is about is there a new database insight subject to the same display query length limit as a performance insight used to be? And how do we debug very long query where we can't see the whole query?
I actually don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to have to go away and find the answer to that. So if you can just either reach out to me directly or share your contact information, and we'll get that question answered for you.
Yeah, if you can just copy and paste this question in